Hey guys, Baron here. I don't know about you, but I always kind of thought that type Null is a very strange Pokemon. Is it legendary? Is it not legendary? Is it based on Arceus? And why does Gladion have one? Those are all questions that I've sort of been thinking about back and forth as the 7th generation of Pokemon has been out. But one that's also been kind of in the back of my head is one that I've been fighting back and forth on, is if it is true or not. So I thought, to finally uncover it and to bring you guys another fun Pokemon theory, we talk about it today. So in this video, we are covering what the Aether Foundation truly did to type Null. Before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to that subscribe button so you never miss an upload from me, and share this video with a friend. But with that being said, let's get into the video and let's crack this theory open. Before we actually get into our subject for the theory, type Null, we should probably look at what Aether Foundation is. Because as a matter of fact, it was actually this organization that created type Null in the first place. Now, this is a very fishy organization to say the least. Their official and public goal is to help and aid herd Pokemon, since they go around doing field work, helping Pokemon out. But there's so much more going on under the surface. In the Sun and Moon games, it is explained to us at the Aether Paradise how the Aether Foundation studied the existence of Ultra Beasts, powerful beings from other dimensions to our own. They could come through to our world by ultra wormholes, essentially tears in the fabric of reality, where dimensions interlapse. The Aether Foundation saw these beings as potential threats to the Earth, and therefore started a program called the RKS system to combat the Ultra Beasts. This was essentially their desire to build a Pokemon that, much like Arceus, could take on any typing of Pokemon. So they took many different ones and put them together into one single being, this being type Null. But this being became angered after many attempts to perfect the RKS system and became more and more violent. So this is a background of type Null. But in all that process, what really happened to type Null? What did the Aether Foundation do to them while they were developing the RKS system? Well, if we first look at what type Null is actually based off, it is a chimera. These beings are common in Greek and Roman mythology, and are creatures composed of many different animals, classically a lion, a goat, and a snake. In type Null's case, we can see that it has a dark and sleek body, possibly being the genetic material of an Umbreon or Luxray. It also has a triangular fin as its tail, possibly being the genetic material of a Gyarados or possibly a Samurott. It also has some kind of claw-like front paws, which might be from some kind of bird Pokemon we have not seen yet, or it might just be a green-looking Skarmory or something. Now, there are two ways to create a chimera. There's a scientific way that you can actually do in our own world, where you take two fertilized eggs and sort of combine them through a process which is called combining zygotes into genotypes. A zygote being a cell and genotypes being the genetic makeup of the being. Then again, if you do this, you need two eggs who are of the same animal, since you most often just create multiple genders, different blood types or blood cells in chimeric production. No, there is methodologically a more horrid way to create a chimera. That is in alchemy. And that is taking two or more beings and simply merging them into one single being with memories intact. We can see this in instances of popular culture, for example with the anime Full Metal Alchemist, portraying a girl being transformed by her father as a horrid experiment into a being combined with a family dog. We can also see in the Disney's classic Beauty and the Beast that the beast is sort of a chimera-like creature with horns of bison, arms that are bear-like, and some human mixed in there for, for fun. And while the beast is simply put under a spell to become this being, and the young girl from Full Metal Alchemist is not, we can see one thing in common between them. They both keep their memories intact. And since type Null is clearly combined by both aquatic, beastly, and bird-like creatures, this seems to be the case. This is further backed up by that you can find the DNA splices in here, an item which are commonly known to be able to fuse Reshiram and Zekrom, the Unova legends, into Kyurem, which is actually a sort of chimeric transmutation when you think about it. Can you imagine types Null pain and wrath though? knowing it has been hurt, just to simply be used as a weapon. Now, to understand what truly was done to type Null, we need to look at the RKS system and what it actually is. Now, while it is a rare Pokemon, type Null does have an evolution in Silvally. This Pokemon has an ability by this name, the RKS system that is, and it is this ability that the Aether Foundation wanted to develop and find in type Null. Now, while we are not given many clues to how this ability works in the games, we are given some clues in the anime. Here we can see that Silvally has a sort of screw in its skull that you can open and insert a disc into that makes Silvally change its typing, making the RKS system in full effect. But wait, Baron, you'd say. Doesn't this mean that the screw goes right into Silvally's brain? And yes, dear viewer, it does. It is not entirely impossible that this is a kind of lobotomy, a brain procedure where you scrape away connections in the brain, making certain brain parts dysfunctional. Holding all this in place is the helmet that type Null has, being a sort of inhibitor of these brain parts. Now, since Silvally's screws is right in the left side of Silvally's head, so it is likely that the brain parts worked on were the hypothalamus and thalamus. The hypothalamus is responsible for blood circulation and metabolism, but it is also important for hormone circulation. A thalamus, on the other hand, is responsible for sense and receiving stimulation from our surroundings, so for example through hearing, through seeing, and through smelling. It is also important for arousal, and no, not sexual arousal, comment section. More like sleep, attention, and emotional arousal, something we'll get back to later. Now imagine that, not being able to eat properly because your metabolism does work, and while you probably wouldn't need it in this case, it will still be bothersome, and you wouldn't be able to touch or see or hear. Maybe, as I've said, this is why type Null is in a helmet, as the Aether Foundation attempts to make type Null able to see and hear so they can fight the Ultra Beasts and to keep the synaptic connections in place. Still, you'd have no emotional basis for your being, and you can never sleep or relax. In other words, an endless loop of torture. Here's where we finally get to Gladion and his type Null. You see, this is the only type Null that we see in the games and the anime. He is very protective of this type Null and does everything he can to make it and himself stronger. At the Battle Royale Dome in Sun and Moon, he tells you that he and his type Null have to make it on their own and become stronger. Once at the Aether Paradise, Gladion says to the player that I'd wanted to get as far away from this place as I could together with Null, but in the end, it looks like I ended up right back here again. Once encountering him again in Seafolk Village this time, he tells you that all I could think about back then was how to save type Null. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, we can hear from him at the Battle Dome again, that he and type Null will be strong enough to protect them this time. I think all this suggests that Gladion found out about the RKS program somehow, likely through his mother, the head of the Aether Foundation, Lusamine. All the types Null were taken into cryogenic suspension, a sort of freeze, so they could be revived later to be further experimented on, so he must have saved it before then. Together, they traveled through Alola, getting stronger to be able to free all the other type Nulls that were put into stasis, so they could be free. It is clear that this is the case, since Gladion says we want to get as far away from the Aether Foundation as possible, to not put type Null in risk of being discovered by the Foundation. So he joined Team Skull, both to be able to get strong, oppose the Aether Foundation, and be under the protection of their admins, all in an effort to save type Null. While this was happening, type Null found someone he could trust in. He knew how Gladion cared about him, and he had a purpose to save his friends. I think all this made type Null's brain change, not quickly, but slowly. And after the Aether Foundation was destroyed, he could finally be relieved and trusted Gladion completely. I think this is the reason why type Null only evolves through high friendship. It needs to gain its ability to feel and love back, so that it can break free from its helmets and reach its true potential. And once you encounter the pair at Mount Aquila just before the Elite Four, this is exactly what has happened. And yes, while this is all lovey-dovey and scientifically impossible, to put it bluntly, this is Pokemon. We have Pokemon like Dugtree with 3 heads and no known body, and we have Pokemon like Metagross made out of multiple Metanks. So if it isn't impossible, it is probably likely. I think this is the reason why you can get a type Null after you beat a game from Gladion. By this time, it is likely that he and his Savali had saved the rest of the type Null. As his Gladion has gotten to know you as a caring trainer, he feels like he can, as he says, trust you to show it the world, just like he has done with his very best friend. So guys, that was my theory. Did you enjoy it? Do you agree with it? Let us know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to that subscribe button, and share this video with a friend or two. But with that being said, I'm gonna get the hashtag out of here. Thank you for checking out the video. I've been Baron, and I will see you in just a click away. Before, until, and after then, stay awesome.